Hey guys, this is Mectojic, back with another episode of the Translucent Plastics Archive. Today's episode, I'm talking about the Apple Pro mice. Now, in some ways, I don't really call these translucent. They come from the time when Apple was transitioning away from its translucent aesthetic. What they use instead of translucent plastic is more of a clear acrylic. You can see that there's actually no translucency, as in color, penetrating these, except on this black mouse where you can very faintly see the PCB inside, but it's pretty hard unless you're looking at it in perfect lighting. You can kind of see it there. The thing about these two mice is that these were Apple's first optical mice. They're USB standard. They have a pretty short cable, both of them. The black one's a little shorter than the white one. And you can actually tell how old these are based on a few little traits. So on the back here, you've got an adjustment, which is pretty unique, honestly. So if you twist this my one might be a little bit dead, but if you twist it, you can adjust the clicking force. And I think they removed this feature because it wasn't really used much. The difference between the three levels of force is really not that much. It's just a slightly more heavy or quite a light. But if you're holding it like this, it's still not quite going to be a problem, whatever version you use. They took that same idea of the three different options and they put it onto the first revision of this white mouse, which came with the iMac G4, for instance. But by the time we got to 2003, they had removed this with the iMac G5. The first iMac G5s actually came with this mouse, not the well-known Mighty Mouse, which has this 360-degree scroll wheel. The iMac G5 originally came with this mouse. So they're both optical, they both have the same functionality, except that they removed this this level of force on it. And they also removed the naming. You can see that this one is called Pro Mouse in Apple's original Garamond serif font, but this one is just called a mouse, and they've removed the serif. So around the year 2002, when the iMac G4 was released, and around the year 2003, they got rid of their Garamond font on all of their marketing and changed it to the font that we know, well, for the next couple of years. So that's the Apple Pro Mouse. I don't mind them, but I really do prefer the Puck Mouse or one of Apple's newer mice. After all, while they're optical, they're only a single button still, so you're not really getting too much benefit to use these over any other. And of course, the cable length is quite short. The one other thing I was going to say is that the cable type did change as well. So you can see that this is clearly older because it's using Apple's translucent coloring, whereas this one is white, which is in keeping with their more minimalist aesthetic. Some of the early white ones, which had the force click, also had the translucent cable. So that's the Apple Pro mice. Not technically translucent, I suppose, but still a very interesting part of Apple's history, and certainly something that really showcased the transition away from translucency. And just for reference, the first model of this was released in summer of 2000 with the G4 Cube and all those Macs, the iMac DVs, for instance, such as the Ruby and Indigo ones. This is what they released, getting rid of the idea of matching color accessories for the Puck Mouse had introduced. So I kind of resent them for that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.